just go down the sign-in sheet, put numbers on them, throw the numbers in a hat.
Need SFTP or FTP?
Oh, I just went URL. An HTTP URL will link to
It's not on the website.
For the Oregon Project Game Challenge last year, we made a game with Unity 3D.
The Oregon Game Project was a whole bunch of fun. We got to travel to Salem, we got to work together with our teams.
The Game Project Challenge really provided an opportunity to get a lot of the students that I knew were interested in gaming and programming. This would get the kids that were also interested in more of the artistic approaches.
To make a successful game, you have to definitely have great teamwork or else it's really uncoordinated.
Working with my team was fun because everyone contributed. I wouldn't have been able to get through it alone.
First of all, they all just loved it. Everybody had a different job. You know, there were some of the students that were doing the artistic side, so they were doing sketches of what all the characters looked like. And then there were other students who were working on the actual gameplay design. So it really engaged all the different students.
I am what people would call an arts kid. I love art, I love music, I love all of that great stuff. And even if you're not very good at coding, there's always something you could do. You could design sprites like I did. You can work on the soundtrack, you can write stories.
I did some programming for a game that we created. My main responsibility last year was to help make the storyline for it. I didn't do too much coding, I sort of just wrote down the story.
Last year, I helped program and create the post-apocalyptic race car game.
When our teacher told us that we could do like art design or the coding, and I kind of did a little bit of both. My classmates helped me with the coding a little bit. So I kind of got to do whatever I wanted to.
Yeah, I'm not a programmer, but everything that everybody kept telling me from other coaches and things was that it's fairly low impact as far as being the mentor coach. It's so student driven.
My parents thought it was a good idea, and they didn't really care because they knew I was into coding a lot.
My mom and my dad, they were really happy. They thought that it would be a really cool experience for me to make a video game, and I was super excited.
The parents were so excited to see their kids engaged in the process and not just playing a video game, but learning the entire process.
I would say it's definitely worth it because you learn a lot and you get to program a lot. It's really cool to have your own produced game that other people can play and enjoy.
They're all coming back and doing it again.
So I would say just do it because it's really fun.
All right, welcome to the Game Jam OGPC Kickoff for 2015-2016. Give me just a second here. So for those of you who don't know, we are live streaming not just here, we're also in Bend, Corvallis, and the other side of Portland at the Rockwood Library. All right. So how many people here have been to a game jam before? Okay. So raise your hand if you're a first timer. Is everybody raise your hand if you've been to the main event before then. Wow. So we've got a lot of people that have been to game jams that haven't been to a main event. Raise your hand if you've been to game jam but not the main event. No, okay. All right, so this is our kickoff here for the entire season. We're going to be doing a presentation talking about OGPC, talking about the how to effectively create a game. So game design is what the things on your tables are in front of you are today. We're going to be talking about how to make a game without actually using a computer. So That's why this is all paper here. We're just talking about what is a good game, not how to program, not how to do any of the actual technical work at this point. So get ready to just think about the game and what would make it fun. And then after you go back to your schools, then that's where you'll actually turn it into something, turn it into reality. And then of course, today is the day that you'll learn the theme. This is the earliest we've released the theme ever. So, but we're not changing the main event. It's still toward the end of April. It's on April 23rd. So you'll have more time this year to actually work on developing your project. So we hope that that gives everybody extra time to really pull together something amazing. So is everybody familiar with the term STEM or STEAM? Yeah, I would think so. So the thing about OGBC is we're trying to get everybody involved. This is not just a programming competition. If you've never programmed before, maybe you'll learn during this event, but if you don't and you don't have any interest in it, that's perfectly okay. This is not a programming competition, it's a game creation competition. So we need the artists, we need the writers, we need the animators, we need musicians, we need people that are creative with sound effects, we need all of these people, and we need designers as well. If you think about a Hollywood movie, if you see the credits at the end, you know how long those go. If you've played any big games and you've seen the credits, you know how long those lists go. A game is not something just one or two people usually make. It's usually a big team of people. So we're trying to do something like that here, where you'll get together a bunch of other people that have similar skills or skills that work together to make a game that you can all be very proud of. One of the big benefits that we have at OGPC is that not only are you making this game something that's fun for you, but we also strive to bring in industry experts. So by the time you get to the competition, you will have had a lot of work on the game. And we're going to try to get you feedback through the season, but also at the event itself, when we're judging the games, there will actually be people from the game industry that will be there as part of the judging. So not only will you get advice from people who are maybe teachers or programmers, but people who have actually published games before. So you can ask them questions. We'll have sessions going on where you can talk to them and ask questions about what it means to work in the industry, talk about the talents that you have and how you think that that might work in the industry, or just get really valuable feedback on the games that you create. So this is OGBC version 9, which means this is the 9th year that we've done this. So how many people here have done this more than 1 year? For who? Sorry, let's start it this way. First year hands, put those up first. Okay. If this is your second year, put your hand up. Third year? Fourth year? No one in this room? Okay, maybe at the other locations. We don't have any way to see them two-way, unfortunately. We might have people in other locations who have done it longer. Every time that you do it, though, hopefully you're learning more about what makes a good game and how to actually spend the time that you have from the time you learn the theme until it's time to actually go live with it. There's a lot of planning that goes into it. There's a lot of work. Is it an easy project to make a game? People who have been here before? Yes? No? Yeah, it's not super hard, but it's not super easy to either. So you have to put time into it. You have to be willing to put some work into it. But hopefully you're working on something you love, and so what comes out of it should be pretty amazing. So up to now, we've had about 60 schools involved. We have schools all the way up into Washington, even though it is the Oregon Game Project Challenge. We have a few schools from the state of Washington that are also interested in competing this year. We've had some other years as well. So you might have a little bit of variety there. Over 1,000 students over these 9 years and hundreds of games. So probably any kind of game that you think might be too hard. Somebody's probably tried it before, so don't think that anything is out of your reach. If you can find some resources online or if you find the right experts to talk to, you can probably find a way to make that work for your game. So OGPC is great for a lot of reasons. We have benefit to the schools that we're in because we feel that we offer a great way to use your computer science skills. Some schools may not have a computer science program. For the schools that do, though, this provides another opportunity for you students to do something fun with those skills. And of course, it's out of school. It's not graded, even though it is judged. But it gives you something fun that you can do with these skills that you're learning in school. And hopefully it also gives you a chance to work with people that maybe are not in the computer science side of things. Like I said, the artists, the designers, and those other people. So maybe you'll find yourself working with some kids that you haven't had a chance to work with before. And you can create a team of kids that really have some great skills that work together. The idea is to try to find things that you can't do so that you can create something as a team that's better than anything you could do on your own. We're also reaching out to a lot of businesses, trying to get people aware of OGPC. It's really good for the businesses because the things that you're learning are the types of things that businesses would want to know for hiring. So by doing OGPC, you're giving yourself experience you can put on resumes or applications later that shows you've worked with a team, that shows you've worked with these technical or art or design skills, and possibly even could lead to some internships. So keep in mind when you're listing things that you've done, things like band and after-school clubs and things like that, OGPC has a lot of skills that are very, very relevant to colleges, to job opportunities. So you definitely want to remember to list those, list what you've done in your teams when you're thinking of listing those things out. Gotta remember, I've got these transitions in here. All right, so these are the sponsors that we have so far this year. Brainium and Soma Games and Sierra are the three game company sponsors. Actually, RockU also is a game company. Has anybody here heard of DigiPen before? Yeah? All right, they're very excited about our event. They're giving us money and they're also very interested in being involved with it. So, as I said before, schools are interested in the types of skills that you can pick up at OGPC, and this is proof of that right there. DigiPen is very excited to see that these are the types of skills. This is what it takes to get in there. This is the kind of things they want to see. It's not about single people doing things alone. It's about teams and producing great things. And so there's plenty of schools out there that cater to video games and other STEM and STEAM industry areas, but DigiPen is pretty close to us and is definitely an excellent opportunity. Sierra, does anybody know who Sierra is? It's not a name you really hear very much. Has anybody in here heard of Construct 2, the game engine? Okay, that's the company that makes them. They're based in England. I'm hearing that we're having trouble being heard in other locations. So Sierra makes Construct, and we have some giveaways today. We have some stickers, 3 different designs of stickers. We have some metal pins, and we have a card here. This is for the Corvallis, the Bend, and the Sherwood location. This is a free key to the deluxe edition of Construct 2. I believe it's a $129 value. So we'll be doing a drawing for this later in the day. So new to this year, we have developed a system to try to make it a little more fun for the teams and to give the teams something a little bit more to point at to say what they've done. In the past, if you created a game for OGPC, you brought it to the event, and then it was kind of just over. Like some teams would host it on a website somewhere, or maybe post a YouTube video about it, but unfortunately, OGPC has never had a great way to showcase the games that you come up with. So Team Management System, or TMS as we'll also refer to it, is the system that we have designed to enable teams to register. It's for their schools, it's for their teams, and it's for the games that they make. So each school that participates will create an entry. I should say school or organization. If you're with a non-school, just let us know. We'll make sure that it's added on there as well. So every team that's at your school or organization will add an entry for, and then each year that that team competes, there'll be an entry for the game that they make that year. And what's really cool about this is not only do you get to post the fact that you made the game from this school, but you can put pictures of yourself, you can write bios of the team members, you can put screenshots of your game, and we're working on other things like embedding videos, so you can put a YouTube or Twitch or some other video on there if you want to show off what you've done. So even when the season is over, it's not just over, but your game lives on the OGBC website year after year. You can go to past seasons as well. We do not have data on there now, so if you've been doing this other years, you're not going to find your old games, but look forward to later in this year, we're going to be reaching out to, we're hoping that teams will be willing to go set up their teams from past years. And that's great because then you get to show off what you've done. Somebody searches on your name on Google, they might find you on the OGPC website, or at least searching for the team name, whatever you decide to share on there. But you get a nice way of showing off, just like a major game studio would have. And we'll be probably giving out achievements. We haven't figured out exactly how that works yet, but they're just like in the past, we've had achievements for setting up social media and blogging and things like that. We want everybody to participate in TMS, and so we're going to be giving away lots of achievement points for that as well. So look forward to some announcements on that. The website is up right now. I think it's tms.ogpc.info. It is a work in progress, so use our info@ogpc.info. Let us know when you find problems with it. At this point, things like judges and being approved for teams will have to be done manually. So once you set something up, we might have to go through and unlock it to make it okay. We're trying to figure out what's the best way to make it easy. But we also don't want people joining teams that they're not really on and things like that. So we're still working a little bit on finding that balance. So everybody please check out TMS. If your school's not on there, let us know. If you need a team set up and anything you need, it's better to get that done earlier in the season so it's not a rush to do that toward the end. Any questions? Anything else? All right, so the moment some of you may have been waiting for. The theme is the thing that drives the competition each year. This is what you use to inform your game. This is what inspires you. When you get to the competition, this is what everybody is interpreting. So whatever the theme is going to be pretty much the most important thing of the year. So in past years, we've had themes like figuring out what makes a hero, or working with energy, or search and rescue. This year, I'm going to stretch this out as long as I possibly can. This year the theme is Hidden Worlds. Hidden Worlds is, it's how you interpret it, but in general, Hidden Worlds refers to things that you can't see or you choose not to see. It's the things that are outside of view. It could be things that are literally just blocked from your vision. It could be things that you're not seeing, such as theoretically, it could be a social issue. It could be invisible energy waves. It could be seeing people's thoughts. It could be anything that's outside of view. How exactly you decide that's going to make sense is up to you, but you need to come up with a creative way of showing a hidden world or hidden things, and making sure that your game is all about that, not just having little tiny sprites in your game, but actually thinking, how is the world different because of this ability to see something that's hidden, or because you choose to see something that's normally hidden? What makes things different? How does your gameplay reflect that? Not just how is the art different, but are there different tools you can use? Are there different ways to level up? What is the definition of winning or losing? Maybe it's different than it would normally be because of this different level, or because of this additional thing that you can now see. So we want you to really think about every aspect of this game. If all you think of is, if I was really small, then things would look big, that's kind of like, that's a start, but that's not really digging into it very much. So as a team, you'll want to really think about what makes this different? What can we explore that makes this game more creative and more fun than just changing the scale of things? sorry, I thought I was on this slide already. So I gotta turn around every so often. So these are some of the examples of some of the types of things that are out of sight, out of mind, things that you wouldn't normally think about. So today when you're working on your design, you can be thinking about what your game might be in terms of the event, or you can use something that's a little more throwaway. If you just want to go through this today as an example, you don't have to be thinking of your actual game today. If you've been to one of these before, you know that's the case, but if it's your first time, don't feel like you're under any pressure. This idea is just something to work through today. If it is your real idea, that's great, but there's probably not enough time for your whole team to go through all of the brainstorming that it would require to come up with your final game idea for the competition. So think of something fun that you can work on today. Think about the theme, but don't worry that you maybe can't think of your final ideas today. So the main event is April 23rd. It's in Salem. We'll be announcing the location hopefully fairly soon. As I mentioned, there will be judges from the game industry. We're working on a number of different companies, mostly from around Oregon, mostly from companies where you will have heard of at least some of their games, hopefully anyway. And one of the things we'll be doing differently this year is we will have more talks going on throughout the day. We're trying to get more of these people not only judging but also talking about the industry through the day. So maybe you don't have any questions to start out with, but you can go off into the session room when you're not being judged, and you can just listen and find out, learn about the industry and ask questions. How can I use this skill that I have in order to get a job or something, or just, how did it work? How did you make the sprites that did this in your game? You can ask all of those types of questions there if you want. People's Choice is the, do I have, yes I do, I have the awards right here. So when you're at the main event, we have four big awards that kind of encompass everything that might happen in your game. And then we have smaller awards that are basically per category. So the Best in Show is the award that you can get if your game just blows everybody away in every possible category, scores the highest. That's the Best in Show. And that's at the middle school and at the high school level. I should also point out, for those who haven't been here before, middle schools compete in their own category, high schools in a different category. So there's a Best in Show in each of these.
Yes.
And then Pro's Choice is an award that actually gets handed out based on the input of the judges from the industry. So we have lots of different judges looking at things like how well did you handle the theme, and how well is it a fun game, and all that sort of thing. But some of those judges, like I said, will actually be from the industry and can be rating it based on them having seen many professional games, not looking at the points from achievements, just as an industry professional, this is the game I think is the most fun. That's the Pro's Choice Award. The Rookie Award is the team that has the best scoring game that doesn't necessarily fit into another category, but is a first-year effort. And that means the coach as well. Many of the schools have shifting teams every year, so we can't just say it's a new team. It's also based on having a new coach. So if you're brand new, then you'll be eligible for the Rookie Award, even though your game may not have, maybe you didn't finish, maybe things didn't go quite as well as you thought, but we give that award out for just a stellar effort on your first attempt. The People's Choice is the one you guys get to vote on. So during the event, you will be walking around, you'll be doing several things. You'll be at your table showing off your game. And that'll be to anybody who walks up to you. That's part of the fun of it, is just saying, hey, look at this cool thing we made. Part of your time will be talking to the judges. The judges will ask you questions, and that's what leads to your achievements. Those are the points that add up to get your various awards. The rest of the time, you'll be going around playing other people's games. And so as you play those games, you'll see ones that you really, really like. And it doesn't matter what they do in terms of the theme or in terms of OGPC's rules. If you guys think it's fun, then you can vote for it. And that's the People's Choice Award. So that has nothing to do with achievements or judging. That's purely based on all of you guys at the event voting on each other's games. So outside of the main awards, we have category awards as well. So even though your game maybe not be finished, Maybe you haven't had a chance to add any sound effects to it yet, whatever level it might be at. If you have exceptional programming, if the design itself is exceptional, the art, the theme, if these things are exceptional, even though it's not necessarily a finished, polished, excellent, whatever, there's other problems with the game, you can still win awards. Put everything you possibly can into this game, because everything that's in it will be judged for what it is. It's not just, does this game look like, give me one, Call of Duty?
Blizzard.
Warframe, whatever. Does it look like that? It doesn't matter. Is it fun? Was it something you put a lot into? And then the final category here, professionalism, is a little bit different. This isn't as much just about your game as it is you guys as a team. Even though your game maybe didn't come together the way you thought it was going to, as a team you guys work together incredibly well. Maybe you show up at the event and you've got cards printed out to hand out. Maybe you've got t-shirts with your team logo on it. Maybe you guys walk around doing some kind of chant every so often. Maybe you're the guys who go around and offer help to other teams on Reddit or on Facebook or on other social media where we have OGPC set up. Professionalism is about showing that you have what it takes, that you're as good as any studio out there in terms of being a good team, even though you might not have actually gotten as far as you wanted in the game. Maybe you just bit off more than you could chew. Maybe you lost a key member late in the process. Whatever it may be, this is where you as a team get recognized. Does anybody have any questions on any of the awards? Should have been asking this a lot. Does anybody have questions about TMS? Okay. Final word here, please. We're a nonprofit. We need money. We need any support we can get. So adults, talk to the companies you work for. Students, if you're at a school that doesn't yet support OGPC, talk to teachers at your school, see about getting involved. We'd love any support we can get. I'd love to talk about the theme now if anybody has any questions about the theme. And anybody in other locations, if you have questions on the theme, talk to your local moderators and those will get sent this way.
Is that one for the coaches?
Yes, the stapled one is for the coaches. And this is for anybody who wants it.
Do that at the coach station.
So we're going to be handing around, and each location can be doing this now. We have competition manuals for coaches and mentors. And then we have summary sheets for the students who are participating. I think this has been made really clear, but I want to make sure that everybody really knows this. If you're not on a team right now, that's absolutely fine. And if you walk away at the end of today and you decide this isn't for you, that's fine. There's no obligation to being here, of course. And we're not going to harass you just because you signed in. If you don't want to do this, you just tell us and you're off the list. So the sheets that we're sending around have information on the theme, and they also have information on how the event actually works. So especially if this is your first time being at OGPC, there's a lot of good information on how judging works and how running a team works. We're also going to have sessions for new coaches, and then we have an advanced session from Pete Steinfeld to talk about some advanced topics on how to run a team using agile methods so that you can get even better, have a better experience with your team this year. Whether you're a first-time or a returning coach, you can go to both of those sessions however you want to do it. It's going to be the first-time coaches first, followed by the advanced topics. During the, as soon as I'm done talking here and we spread back out, we're going to do the actual game jam design activity. Any returning students who feel like they don't need to do this again, we would welcome your help. Just going around making sure everything's going smoothly. Also, any parents, any coaches who are not in the session, if you're willing to walk around and just kind of make sure things are going okay, we'd really appreciate that. So, any questions? Just do that based on answering questions during the design session, maybe?
I'm just going to give this to
Could you raise your hand if you did not go to the main event last year?
Who did not go to the main event?
We have some license keys for Contraption Maker. If you were here last year, you most likely have that already. That's why
We're giving you a free game for coming today. This is Contraption Maker. Who knows about that game? It's really cool.
just ask on there questions if you want to look at something about that. Otherwise, I'll kill the stream. Okay, I'll ask again before signing off then from the live stream. Are there any questions on the theme? I want to get them answered so everybody can benefit from it if there are any questions right now. Okay. Thank you, Ben, Corvallis, and Rockwood.